Greetings, I'm Charles, I'm 55 years old, I'm 6'1" when I'm fully assembled and weigh 230 pounds last time I was weighed in. Today I'm going to talk about the things that the wheelchairs will tear up. Given enough time, it'll become noticeable, but if you are aware ahead of time, you may be able to prevent or at least reduce these things. The first thing I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to show you because nothing's tore up yet, but carpet. Carpet is one of the things that could easily get tore up. And I know a lot of people, when they become, especially if they know they're permanently going to be in a wheelchair, then they'll often will want to remove the carpet and install some nice hard floors, like hardwood floors, something like that, something that makes it really easy. Now, when I first started using a wheelchair 5 years ago, the intent was to be temporary. And the intent now is to be temporary, although in the last 5 years since I used a wheelchair after my first amputation, I have spent probably 90–95% of my time using the wheelchair because of a variety of reasons. Broke my foot, bad medication to make me dizzy, that sort of thing. Alrighty, so the first thing, as I was talking about, is carpet gets torn up, and the reason is because, like I said, I'm 230 pounds. If I got a wheelchair under me, it's about 30 pounds, so that's 260 pounds. And all of that weight is being distributed on these wheels at very small points on these wheels. So there's probably about 4 square inches, maybe total, that's supporting 260 pounds. Now, if I was walking and I'm on my own 2 feet, plastic or real, and I'm wearing shoes, I probably have somewhere about 12 to 16 square inches that are going to have this weight distributed on. So we got my weight in the wheelchair is probably about 4 to 6 times the amount of pressure, and that'll cause the carpets to get torn up. Now, even if I tried to show you, I couldn't show you, but I can feel the tracks where it's gotten soft, the padding's gotten soft, the carpet's actually thinned out and even making tracks in the underlying floor. So that's one of the big things that gets torn up. Another thing that I've seen happen is that people who transfer from their wheelchairs into cars will oftentimes bump their wheelchairs into the sides of cars, especially these little parts that poke out like the brakes or these parts right here, and you can tear up the paint either on the very lower part that picks up all the bugs and the tar and stuff, or on the doors or near the doors because of these things rubbing on. So you definitely want to be aware if you're transferring in a vehicle that you're not rubbing up against the vehicle so you can tear up the paint. Now, I have seen videos with some other people that'll use a towel or like a furniture blanket or a small furniture blanket, something like that, and they will chunk over the part so it can guard the car from scratches. Probably not a bad idea to start doing that right from the beginning. Okay, from around the house, some of the things, other things that get tore up is along my hallway here. It's not a really narrow hallway, but over the 5 years, I have just scraped these things up. And what that is, it's my push rims are hitting it somewhere or another. I'm not paying attention. I'm going backwards, pushing myself backwards with just my feet because I'm carrying a bunch of mail in or whatever it is. And I bump into the walls, and it causes these scuff marks along the walls. Go ahead and pause. Okay, one of the other things that gets torn up, and if you've seen my video about getting in and out of a tiny bathroom, you can see that I'm right up close to the door frame with my wheelchair, and unfortunately it will tear that up over time. With my weight, even if my brakes are locked and good, as much as my weight is, I can move the wheelchair around as I'm trying to move in and out of it. Just can't help but hitting the door frames. Okay, besides the door frames, the tiny door frames, the front door, this is not just showing you about the door getting torn up, but the reason door has gotten torn up is because it's just opposite my staircase. And if you've seen a video of me going up and down the stairs, you see that I moved my wheelchair into this tiny space. And what has happened over the last 5 years is my back wheels, or the wheelie wheels, have rubbed up against the wall or the door there and has torn that up. It's not really tore up, it's just marked up, so it's not in bad shape. But that is, once again, one of the results of a wheelchair. And I'll show you something here just as we make this next cut. Tell me you're ready. Okay, one of the other things that's gotten torn up is the legs on my kitchen table. There's different spots, 3 distinct spots, from where I used to have attachments on my wheelchair to some of the things that are still connected in my wheelchair. The very bottom of the leg is just from the caster, that's still from the caster. I know you just took a picture of 2 different legs, and the reason that one is tore up a lot more than the other is because I pull in at an angle to my table, because my armrests will not go all the way in, so I pull in at an angle, and it just makes things easier for me. Okay, since we're standing here, why don't we go ahead and take a look at one of my personal casualties for the wheelchair, which would be the shoes. I don't know how well you can see because it's the black on the black there, but the shoes, it got tore up. This is one of the things that needs to be replaced periodically. And the reason is because I have my shoes inside my wheels, and they'll rub against the wheels. I'll hit on the nuts and bolts of the caster on the inside of the wheel, and as you can see, I'll just tear up. And that'll happen on both sides. One of the best things I can do to prevent things from getting torn up is I've discovered is any place that I can use the black electrical tape, I'll put that on. It'll help reduce it. Just causes some rubbing and not so much the gouging and whatnot. Unfortunately, there's not too many places that I can put this on the wheelchair that'll cut it down, but any place I can put it, it works real well and it's easy to replace. So that's pretty much it. I hope this information was useful for you.